the Bitcoin price again dips lower as $100 billion of market cap are erased from the crypto markets as Bitcoin falls below 83,000. How much lower could Bitcoin go? And if Bitcoin loses this support, what comes next for crypto? Watch today's whole video because we'll discuss Trump's trade war, tariffs, the economy. This is a big week for cryptocurrency because in the dead of the night, while everybody else was talking about everything else, the office of the comptroller of the currency just changed some rules. This just happened. Just in. U.S. banks can now be validators on a public network, meaning support, validate the Ethereum network, the Polkadot network, any public blockchain network, meaning JP Morgan if they wanted, or Wells Fargo if they wanted, can run nodes, support Ethereum, be a part of these public networks. Banks can now also custody crypto for their customers, as well as hold stablecoins. The American financial system has never allowed that before. Now that's allowed. This was the letter that was just released from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. It reads, this letter rescinds Interpretive Letter 1179 from back in November 18th of 2021. This letter also reaffirms that the crypto asset custody, distributed ledger, and stablecoin activities, hereafter referred to as crypto asset activities, discussed in prior letters are now permissible. Specifically, the OCC issued 3 interpretive letters back in 2020 and early 2021 addressing whether it is permissible for national banks and federal savings associations, collectively banks, to engage in crypto asset activities. And no matter what was stated in those prior letters, this is what's permissible today. And they say they've updated their opinion. Since the issuance of Interpretive Letter 1179, OCC staff have continued to develop knowledge and expertise regarding crypto asset activities. Based on this supervisory experience, the OCC has determined that Interpretive Letter 1179 is no longer necessary, and this rescission is intended to reduce burden, encourage responsible innovation, and enhance transparency. So when we say United States banks can now be validators on public networks, custody crypto for customers, and hold stablecoins, this has never been legally allowed in America until now. So why does crypto continue to crash? After all, we have never seen a government administration like this is Crypto czar David Sachs, take such a pro and public opinion on Bitcoin. Listen to this 60-second clip.
Yeah, we're not picking favorites, obviously, except I will say this. We do think Bitcoin is special, and I can get into the reasons
explain
why.
why. That's a great thing, yeah.
Well,
Explain why.
Bitcoin's the original cryptocurrency. It's the first one. It's the only one that doesn't have an issuer, right? It's very decentralized. It's, in crypto, they call this the Immaculate Conception. We don't really know how it got here. We don't know who Satoshi is. It's almost mystical, you would say.
Yes.
It's the most valuable one. It has a $2 trillion market cap, and it's the most secure. It's never been hacked, right? So we're now, over 15 years into this journey, and there's been a lot of people who've been skeptical along the way, and there's been a lot of ups and downs. But here it is. I remember back in 2011, I think it's the first time I bought a Bitcoin. I think it was at $120. Now it's at $90,000. Again, there have been all sorts of wild swings along the way, but this thing just keeps chugging along. And you can think of that $2 trillion market cap as like a $2 trillion bug bounty. If there was a way to hack this, there's every incentive in the world. And by hack, I mean like to double spend, create basically a counterfeit Bitcoin, I guess would be the way for people to think about it. And
it
so
is a miracle it hasn't been compromised. I think we can all say that.
Well, I don't know if it's a miracle. I think it's exceptional design.
And think about that. For the first 15 years of Bitcoin's existence, from around here to around beginning of 2024, like here, Bitcoin was in the shadows. Bitcoin was seen as a scourge on the American financial system or a distraction. We now have the presidential administration educating and explaining the long-term value. Think of what that means, long-term. And with a little bit more clarity on the other crypto coins, the other altcoins the US government is speculated to hold. Here are the largest US government crypto holdings, as it was revealed that they will be creating a digital asset stockpile with the cryptocurrencies they own. It is speculated that they have around 50,000 Ethereum. Here's David Sachs commenting.
We don't know exactly what digital assets the federal government has. I've seen reports that it might have, for example, 50,000 ETH, which is Ethereum. But again, we need to get to the bottom of that. When we figure out exactly what the assets are, we're going to move them into the digital stockpile. The purpose of the stockpile is responsible stewardship. It's a place for safekeeping. It's a centralized, you could say, account under the direction of the Secretary of the Treasury. And the Secretary of the Treasury will figure out how to maximize the values of these holdings.
The US government is also speculated to have some BNB, some Tron, some Uniswap, some Chainlink, and some Sandbox. If/when they discover they have this, it will be held long-term by the United States government. And if you appreciate one video per day keeping you informed on the cryptocurrency market, click subscribe, join the Altcoin Daily Army for an edge investing in crypto. And why is Bitcoin crashing today? Well, short term, it's the trade war.
The most insane trade war has officially begun because Canada, Mexico, and China are pissed and have now all announced their own plans on how to retaliate against Trump's tariffs.
Emotions and liquidity control all markets short term, and of course tariffs in the short term slows commerce and slows growth. Here is one of the greatest explanations in under 2 minutes on what exactly happening is with tariffs and the trade war. If you already understand this, feel free to skip ahead about 2 minutes, but such a great explainer video.
But here's where things get interesting, because instead of just doing what Trump wants, Canada has clapped back with a 25% tariff of their own, and Mexico said they're doing the same but haven't announced the percentage yet. China reacted a little differently by preparing to file a lawsuit with the World Trade Organization. So why is Trump not backing down? Just listen to this. In 2023, Canada sent 76% of all of their exports to the United States. That accounts for roughly 19% of their entire GDP. In 2024, Mexico sent 78% of all of their exports to the United States. That makes up 37% of their entire GDP. But for America, their exports to both countries combined only make up roughly 2.7% of their entire GDP. So simply put, even if they do retaliate, getting into a tariff war with the United States would hit Canada and Mexico much harder. Trump knows this, and he's using it.
So I loved this explanation. Be sure to give the video a like, get it out there. Essentially, that means short-term unknown, short-term pain. The good news is that when things get bad, the Federal Reserve has to cut. The next meeting is in March 18th, so just a few weeks away. Good news right now, looking at a little bit of Bitcoin TA, is that when this recent dip is a higher low, we see the uptrend. But of course, since we pumped so fast, it's always very possible that we can dump so fast. You can't have volatility like this without having potential volatility like this. The next support, which we've been looking at forever, is around the $72,000, $73,000 mark. And even if we hit $67,000 Bitcoin, that would still be, in the broader outlook, a higher low, a bull market, in my opinion. Maybe that sounds crazy to you. Of course, if the slowing economy pushes everything into a much bigger recession, then we're not in a bull market. I don't know what Bitcoin's price will do tomorrow, and neither do you. But to end here, to end with a chart like this is some perspective on Bitcoin's price after every halving. And we are right here, even with this most recent dip, we are right here in the Bitcoin halving cycle. But in 2016 or 2017, 2016, how many of you would have sold this dip and said bull market's over when we had all this upside to go? Of course, anything is possible. I cannot see the future, but every day, Altcoin Daily will bring you a video so you can make the best decision for you. Like always, see you tomorrow.